Hello everyone. Today we are looking at Pocket Toys Ruiner B combiner set. And this is a knockoff of Iron Factory's War Giant set, which is their take on the Combaticons and Bruticus. So this video, we're going to look at the box, the contents, as well as review Brawl. And then we'll look at the other Combaticons in separate videos, so we don't have a super long video. But for the box here, we've got Pocket Toys at the bottom, so that's the brand. This is from their Transsphere line, Evil Energy Panzer Legion 5. That's their name for the Combaticons. At the bottom here, Team 5 and 1, Ruiner B. That's their name for Bruticus. Same artwork on the side here. On the other side, we have a toy shot of Bruticus. Transsphere on the top. I just have a warning on the bottom. And then on the back, you have a shot of the Combaticons in their alt modes, robot modes, combined modes for Bruticus. As for inside the box, everything comes packaged in this big clamshell. Also packed in the box is this large instruction booklet. On the bottom of the first page, we have the transformation steps for Brawl and Swindle. On the other side, we have the rest of Swindle and the combined mode instructions for those two bots. If we open this up and flip it over to the back, you have instructions here for Blastoff. And Vortex is on the other side. And down at the bottom, you have your instructions for Onslaught and his combined mode instructions and everything else to form Bruticus down here at the bottom. Inside the package here, we have Brawl, Onslaught, Swindle, Blastoff, Vortex. We have a big blaster here, Shockwave. And we have additional components for the combined mode. As well, there's this little baggie here, which has some loose parts. I'm going to open this up. So inside there, we have this piece here, which is for Onslaught and for the combined mode. We have these two blasters here, and those will go on Blastoff. We have two different sized flight stand connectors. One will be for Vortex, one will be for Blastoff. And then the rest of the pieces here are for Vortex. So this is the cockpit piece. And we have 4 rotor blades for Vortex. All right, let's get Brawl out of the package and take a look. And now for a look at Brawl. Here he is, his tank mode. And like the G1 toy, he's a green tank. Looks pretty nice. He's got a lot of molded detail all over the figure. Got some silver gas cans up top. Black cannon. Got some silver plates at the back. Gunmetal treads. No wheels on him. The back. As for movement, you can angle the cannon up. You can fold all the way back if you want, due to transformation. The turret can spin all the way around. One thing to point out, I'm going to pull off the turret here. It's just pegged in right there. The way mine was packaged was this piece here was rotated around like that. So if you have that orientation, it doesn't affect the movement. It still spins around, but what it does is it changes the pivot point from the center of the turret to the base of the cannon. So when it rotates like that, it just rotates off center. It looks a little unnatural. So I recommend, if that's the case on yours, just pull this off and rotate it so this post is sitting like that. In my opinion, that makes it look a little bit better in tank mode as well. That's the orientation you want that sitting in for robot mode. So I personally just leave it like this. And that's about it for what you can move on his tank mode. For weaponry, we can bring in the big blaster for Bruticus. And this is made of all of the smaller robots' combined weapons. So the ones for Brawl are these two blasters in the middle section here. We can just pull them off. And they peg in these little posts right here. Each peg into a slot right there underneath that purple section. So here's the blasters look like. And they may have this piece flipped down. This is more for robot mode. So you can do is fold those up. And for storing on the tank mode, you have ports up on the turret, and then you have 2 ports on either side. So you could do, if you want, you can have the blasters sticking up out of the turret, like so. You also take them off. These posts are on a hinge, so you can have them move left or right. So we move those so they're sitting horizontally. And you can stick them in either one of these ports that you wish. Just like that. You have Brawl all armed up. And here's how Pocket Toys Brawl looks in alt mode next to the original. Now, say I like both these tanks, but this one just definitely has a little bit more detail, and I think it's a good representation of the G1 look. To get Brawl in his robot mode, take the cannon, fold it back. I'm going to remove the turret. You don't need to. It just makes it easier to see what's going on here. Turn him around. On the bottom, here's his feet. So I'm going to hinge the foot down. Use this ball joint here to rock it into this position. Same thing on the other side. Rotate each foot around. Then on the bottom of the feet, we have these slots, which you can use to get your fingernail in to flip out each heel. Back on the underside, look for these rectangle sections on the treads. Fingers on either side. Pop it out and flip it right there. Same thing on the other side. To get the legs extended, first we have to unclasp this back section. So there's tab slot connection up here on either side. So if we pull that out, and what I'm going to do to make it a little bit easier to see what's going on, we're going to rotate at the waist here. And while you're doing movements down here, there's this little notch here that things tend to get stuck in. So if you just pull this out, this will help get some clearance there. So I'm going to do that here as well. So we get that rotated. The legs are connected together together each other with tab slots here and here. So just pull it apart, it splits apart really easily. And to get the legs extended, we're going to do two movements here. First, we're going to rotate that section there. Then we can see the thighs and the inner leg mechanism here. So we're going to pull this out and push this down so the whole leg looks like that. Same thing on the other side. Swing that like that. And pull that out, straighten the leg. And we want to rotate the waist like this so that the toes are in line with the head. To get the arms out, we have tab slot connections up here and down where the forearm is. So we're just going to pull that out and down slightly. It doesn't go very far. I'm going to take the hand and forearm. I'm going to flip it down and straighten it out, just like that. And this top section here, it's on a hinge, so we're going to hinge that all the way around like that. Grab that and the tread here and rotate the whole assembly back like this. So same thing on the other side. I'm going to unpeg this, straighten out the hand, hinge this out, bring the whole assembly back. I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to swing it down, and these two screw holes are going to connect these two pegs. To bring that down, it's going to snap in like that. And make sure his head's straight. Sometimes it folds down like that. Bring turret back, plug it back to where it was in alt mode. Get them all straightened out. Like so. There you have Brawl in his robot mode. And he looks really good. The only issue I have with him is both of his knees are very, very loose. So if you don't have him just right, he tends to flop over. As far as movement goes, you can rotate his head, but these sections here block him, so you can't really get any effective movement there. Arms have ball joints, so you can rotate them all the way around, bring them in and out like that. You can have rotation here at the bicep, bend the elbows like that, and the wrists are on mushroom pegs, so they do rotate all the way around. You can rotate his waist. You have ball joints at the legs, so they can go forward that far, backwards like that. You can bring them out. Have a little bit of rotation at that joint. You also have a separate mushroom peg at the thigh, so you have thigh rotation all the way around. You have that much bend at the knee, and the feet are on ball joints, so they can rotate them all the way around, and they can go side to side just a little bit. Now, as far as his weapons go, you can have him hold it via this peg, but if you do that, it kind of sits back a little bit far, so if you don't like the way that looks, you can bring them out to the side like that. Then on the bottom here, grab this peg and flip it out so you can expose the smaller handle right there. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. Get this handle out. Then you can just plug that into his hands, or you can put him in the ports on his forearms or his legs. You can even store it on his back if you want to, like that. And get him posed a little bit. See if it doesn't fall down. He's doing a little bit of a bow there. Let's see. Maybe. There we go. Here's Brawl, armed up in his robot mode. And here he is in robot mode next to the original G1 toy. You can see I got a little bit of a glow up there. And if you're wondering how this Brawl scales with some of the mainline figures, he's a Legends class figure, which they on the mainline they don't really make anymore. But I have him next to fellow tank bot Warpath from the Kingdom line, which is a deluxe, and Bumblebee. And this Bumblebee came from the Buzzworthy Bumblebee World Collides 4-pack. And he's one of the smallest of the deluxe size figures. So you can see that the two of them are basically the same height. To get Brawl back into his tank mode, I'm going to take the turret off again. So what we're going to do is we're going to take tread assembly here, flip it out like this, bring the top section, hinge it back, take the arm forearm, move it into position like so. Same thing on the other side, bring this around, flip that back up, bring the hand and the forearm into place, grab the chest, flip that up, and then with the tab here is going to go into the slot on the arm right there, and there's a tab on the forearm that's going to go to a slot right down in there. So we'll get that lined up, pushed in. Same thing on the other side. There, just like that. I'm going to rotate the waist all the way around. For the legs, to get them folded up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this in, like so, and then grab the thigh, push that in as well, and that's going to bring the leg into position here, and it's going to be almost snapped into place by itself, so just a better look at the slot and tab there. And I'm just going to push all that in, connect it up like that. Same thing on the other side. Get that in, push that in. Again, everything, if you have these pushed in all the way, everything's going to pretty much line itself most of the way up. But in case it doesn't, just to show you, get this straightened out again, there's these two slots here on the leg and these two tabs, which will connect the legs together. So get that lined up, as well as the tab slot on the side here. That pushed in, and these two tab slot connections pushed together like so. And if anything's not lining up just right, just push on these thighs here. So if they're not all the way in, some things aren't going to line up properly, so you might have a problem there. Get these tread pieces and flip them back in and snap it into place, like so. Down to the feet. Flip the heels in, rotate the feet around, and we're going to bring them up and all the way in like that. So we have him looking like that. Now we'll bring the turret back in. Plug it in right there. And take the cannon, flip it back out. There you have Brawl back into his tank mode. And for combined mode, it's very simple. We're just going to keep him as a tank. We're just going to flip that cannon back like this, rotate the turret so the cannon is facing this way. Now what we have here is at the bottom, these two ports here, I'm going to plug into the foot. As well, here in the crotch plate, there's that little port there. It's going to go into the foot of Bruticus. So if you're combining this straight out of the package, the feet are connected like this. So they're just connected by two posts. Just split that apart. Brawl is going to make the left foot. So we know which foot is which is these tires are going to face inwards. And the left foot will have the ports here. So this will go towards the inside. These ports will go out towards the outside. To get the foot ready for combination, what you're going to do is take this black piece up top and just swing it on this hinge up like that. And these two posts will go into those two ports on the bottom. And this black post right here is going to go to that port on the underside. So we'll just get everything lined up. Push that down and push this in. There we have Brawl in his combined mode. Some final thoughts on Brawl. Design-wise, the alt mode and the robot mode both look really good. Transformation, definitely more complicated than the G1 toy. The box says it should be for older than 3. I really think that 4 and 5-year-olds might struggle with this one a bit. So probably the complexity is more suited to a little bit older children. Playability-wise, it's fun to pose. There's just that issue on my copy with the knees being really loose, which could be a source of frustration, especially if you've got younger kids playing with it. Durability-wise, it feels really solid. Maybe you might get some stress fractures over time when you're trying to split him apart for robot mode, especially at the legs and the waist region. That can get a little bit tight, so I can see that maybe that would snap off. Other than that, I'd say it's pretty solid toy. I like it. Next, we'll be taking a look at Swindle, and we'll work through the other Combaticons, and eventually we'll get to combined mode for Bruticus. Until then, thanks for watching. See you next time.